the press box. We're live from the Kampala Serena Hotel. Very shortly, I shall be speaking to this man. He's just joined us on set, Mr. Dennis Mbidde. He's running for I was going to say Fufa. That would have put you in a lot of trouble, my friend.
That's where he's headed.
Yeah, that's why he's headed. He's running for Villa's top position. He hopes to become their next president. He's up against Mr. Honorable Medad Segona, who we shall be joining up with very shortly. But I can get confirmation from Kigali that Mark Sally is now joining us and he can hear us. Good evening, Mark, and a warm welcome to the press box tonight. Hello, Mark, can you hear me? Hello, good evening, Mark. I think we are struggling to get Mark on the line in there. A few internet problems. Our technical team is making sure that is getting sorted out. Mark, can you hear me? There he is. Mark, good evening.
Hello, Andrew.
Can you hear me? Mark, really, Mark? Really, Mark? You're getting new technical stuff to sort out your camera when we're already on air. I don't know how long should we give Mark. Mark needs to get to us because he has a very important guest for Uganda's basketball fraternity tonight. And he's telling us everything about of course, Afro basket that is currently going on, that is currently going to start, of course, down in Kigali. Mark, good evening. Can you hear me?
Now, I can hear you.
Mark, I don't know. I mean, someone is shifting your phone, someone is shifting your camera. We are live.
Am I on?
Yes, I can hear you. I don't know. I'm going to work with that, guys. Mark, first of all, good evening, and quickly tell us what is happening in Kigali. Set the scene for us.
Yeah, guys, I'm so sorry about my connection. Good evening, guys. I'm so sorry about my connection. I hope it's sorted now.
Yes, go on.
Yeah, we're done here in Kigali. The tournament starts tomorrow, and we've been the Uganda team has been here for a few days now. We did quarantine for the first 3 at the Hilltop Hotel, and then we got released after our test turned out negative. We did 2 of those, one at the airport and then one in our quarantine hotel. So we've since moved into the bubble. We're here at the Park-In Hotel by the Radisson, and our guys have been tuning in. Our coaches arrived, our foreign players arrived, foreign-based players arrived, and we've been doing practice, and we've put in 2 scrimmages, 2 games, one against the Central African Republic and the other against Kenya. That was today. So we're gearing up. Just a few hours ago, 3 of our players that were left. We have a 12-man roster, but we had 9 here. Now we've got the other 3 arriving. I'm thinking they're probably at the hotel now, but I can't confirm that. But I know that they've arrived in Kigali. That's Ish Wainwright, Arthur Karuma, and Dengu. Now, before I go any further, Andrew, I've got a player with me here in my room that I'd like for him to step onto the set and say hi to the Ugandans and tell me 1 or 2 things before I take over. If that's okay?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Trust me, the Ugandans are waiting for him.
Yeah, I've got Tony Drileva, one of the stars of our team. He's one of the mainstays of our team, based in Uganda. He plays for the City Oilers, and he's a starter. He starts at the 2, a shooting guard, and he's one of our brilliant superstars that have got us to Afro basket. Played so well in the qualifiers, if you saw those in Alexandria as well as in Morocco. So I'm going to step off the set for a minute, ask Tony to step on, and then I'll step back, right?
Okay, fantastic. Let's have him now.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. It is Tony Drileba that we are speaking to very, very shortly. Mark Sally live, of course, in Kigali, Rwanda. Tony, first of all, good evening, and we are very happy to have you on the press box tonight. How are you, first of all, I should ask?
Good evening, Andrew. Thank you very much for having me. We're just glad to be here. The camp is going great, and everyone is in high spirits, including myself.
Yeah, I love when you say everyone is in high spirits, because that is specifically what I wanted to focus on. I want us to focus on the positives, but we know it was a slow start in terms of the travel and preparations for the national side. You've lost some time, so how ready is the team now, and what's the mood like ahead of the game against Senegal?
Of course, in the beginning, because of the very limited time that we had,
we're having a delay in there, probably that internet connection once again. I don't know if Tony, can you hear me?
The spirits were a bit low, but I know last game from the very first meeting on the bus when we met the guys that flew in from Canada, you could tell the excitement was real. We're just glad to be with each other again, and now basketball-wise, preparation has been going really well. And the two games that we've had so far have been very good confidence boosters for us. And going into the Senegal game, we know for sure that we're actually going to play well, because I think we did really well in the scrimmage game. So they gave us very solid confidence boosts.
You're going to have an NBA player in Team Uganda, my friend. We are very excited here in Kampala. That must be a whole different mood. He must be encouraging you guys on completely different. Ooh. We seem to be struggling in there to get Rileba's and Mark's internet perfectly, but let me hope this will happen. Can you hear me now, guys? Okay, we shall come to those very, very shortly.
That's quite strange,
yeah.
Especially knowing that the internet in Rwanda is super fast.
Yeah.
I thought it's a Ugandan thing because you realize even Isma in Tokyo struggled.
Yeah.
So these guys could have traveled with their issues. But I wanted to ask Tony, hopefully he comes back on. Of course, he's one of those people who are going into their first Afrobasket with even the Tetas or Dekes. But then you have Ivan Enabu there, you have Ben Komakech, you have a Pong, who have all been there, and then you have Ishma Winwright, and then you have the boys from college basketball in the US. So just what him as a local lad playing here, what really does this give him and the guys who are just going into their very first oh, he's back.
Tony, can you hear me? I don't know, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, Sandra, I can hear you.
Fantastic. There you go. We do apologize. A couple of technical issues here and there. I was saying, you've got an NBA player in camp now, in Wainwright. That alone must be, encouraging the team completely different. What does he bring to the team in terms of psychology?
First and foremost, the one thing about Ish is that he's a very down-to-earth guy. So it doesn't matter how big of a superstar he becomes. For him, the passion for the country, playing for Uganda, it always supersedes everything else. So, and that's the first thing he brings to the team, that humility. It makes it very easy for everyone here to connect with him, So first and foremost, he brings that humility. And then, of course, everyone knows how gifted he is as a basketball player. He gives us an edge, both offensively and defensively. So having him around definitely is a big boost for us.
I want to give you Mwangusha shortly, but just before I cross over to Mwangusha, look, we know what Afrobasket is. We know how continental this is. But for you guys, the players, do you understand how huge this thing is? Does that put you guys under more pressure? Because now we are becoming one of the better basketball playing nations on the continent.
Of course, it's a bigger tournament, but then fortunately, we've been able to go through the entire process from the qualification rounds all the way from Egypt in November last year. The qualifiers that we've been playing. Every other time that you step out on that floor to represent the country.
Hey. Okay, I think we're having another connection problem in there. And we shall try and sort that out later, when we get that right, we shall try and once again cross over to Mark later on in the show. I think we've got to quickly keep it moving, guys, and quickly talk football. Mwangusha, we shall ask your question when we get that internet right. But also you can send in your reaction, what you think Uganda's chances will be in Kigali at the Afro Basket. Let's quickly jump into the football now. We are hoping to have Honorable Mbidde Segona on the line, and he will be speaking to us. It was supposed to be Zoom or a phone call, but the technical team is trying to sort that out right now. But we've got the other contestant, Mr. Dennis Mbidde. First of all, good evening and a warm welcome to the press box.
Good evening, Andrew, and good evening, Andrew.
Confused. Welcome.
It is really nice.
I almost thought I was going to miss it.
Yeah, no, it is really nice to have you here, Mr. Mbidde. And I'm always happy when we are talking football and specifically discussing club football, because I feel club football is the real foundation for any national team anywhere in world football. But let's start here. What is going on at Villa, and why have you decided you want the top seat at AC Villa?
First of all, I think I want to go back to Mark Sally and basketball.
Okay.
After basket, I've been the Falcons president before in 2013, 2014, and reached 2 finals. Yeah. I was the president in that club. I remember Mark Sally. I'm happy for him because I was with him in St. Benedict Chisubi, SMAC. And he was an all-rounder. So I'm happy for him that actually he's leading a basketball team. Yeah. Meanwhile, he's also on the board of Express FC. Yes. So he can actually double in basketball and double in football.
And KIU.
Well, he's also now in KIU.
Yeah.
I hate that he's in KIU. But anyway, for me, the good thing is that actually that I wish the Silverbacks well as a basketball fan. Because still, Falcons is still the biggest basketball club in Uganda. Not the most successful by far now, because the City Oil went 7 trophies in a row. But we have been there, and we have done that.
And there's something synonymous with the Falcons and Villa. Most successful, traditional, but that's for history.
And actually, that's where I would start from. Falcons and Villa won on the pitch.
Okay.
Villa has to win off the pitch.
Oh, okay.
Because no one is going to come and tell me that the next Villa president should actually tell me they will win the Champions League in Africa. If you don't do that, because I've been to 2 African finals. Yeah. So for me, if you come and tell me, Villa president, I'm like, the only thing you can do for me is to win that trophy, because we have achieved everything.
And we shall talk about your manifesto shortly. We are held back a bit because Honorable Segona is not online, because this battle was going to be a very good battle, and we still do hope he does join us. Back to my question. Why are you running for the presidency? What is it you want to bring to Villa that you think Segona does not have?
Exactly that. I'm telling you about basketball. I'm telling you about football. I've been in the echelons of football and sports in this country. Actually, Maxwell now is the NCS board member. I've been on the National Council of Sports as a board member. He replaced me. Yeah. So I know exactly what it means to be in sport. You see, when you go to be a lawyer, you go through a thesis. 4 years at campus, 9 months at LDC. Then actually you come as a lawyer. Then you practice as an advocate. In football also, we have a thesis. In an institution has a thesis. If I'm going to be a journalist, I've worked in the media also as Chief Commerce Officer of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. You have things you have to go through. I don't think the Honorable Segona actually has gone through the thesis of football to understand it very well. And by the way, when our parents, my father said that club, my father played for Express for 16 years. He was actually scouted by George Wanuka, the grandfather to the current Express chairman, KK, the Attorney General, with due respect. He played for 16 years in that club and actually coached it from 16 years until 32 and coached it a bit. So they left and formed a club called Sports Club Villa. Sports Club Villa, by the way, why I love basketball. We are not a football club. Let me also teach you that. No one knows it. We're a sports club.
In name.
In name, but there's a difference between a football club,
and
Express FC, and Sports Club Villa. The guys went down in natural sentiment and actually started a boxing team, a netball team, and a football team. So that's why we're a sports club.
Yeah.
We're not a football club.
Years later, you must be disappointed that none of those is very active.
Exactly, but when I become the president, they will be active. So 4 years down the lane, I know that actually we would start a boxing club as Villa, and we'll start a basketball club, because I have a passion for that. Why? Because our parents, that was their vision.
Okay.
To start a sports club that can actually go and conquer the continent.
Let's start here before Mwangsha is burning to ask you all the questions.
No, I'm enjoying it.
But let's start here. As we go into the presidential polls, Villa has been in its own turmoil for a very long while, whether it's on and off the pitch. Recently, we know about what the developments that have been happening at the club. Are you, first of all, happy with the direction the club is taking, or are you hoping to take over and change the direction of the club?
Actually, I've been part of that process. Me and Moses Magogo and Sean Mobiru, three of us have been part of that process to re-engineer the club, actually. Andrew, this Andrew knows.
Yeah.
So, and I've reached here and said, okay, having gone through that process to change the, by the way, the main thing for me in Villa is ideological, it's philosophy. We are ideologically disoriented as a club. I'm telling people, the big man syndrome and the rich man syndrome doesn't work. It has failed. We have tried it. The rich man, Omogagaze, it can't work. Actually, when our parents, my father said that club, they took it to the funds. That's why they were in Uraga Cathedral. They were living posh lives. They did Faison Damurida, they did Chewalabie, and actually they decided to go and decide that club, we know, Chisenyi, Natural Sentiment, to bring the club to a common man. So the thing of Omogaga, that no one has money in Uganda today for a team that is chasing trophies to actually run a club.
We're trying to keep this short, as you realize. I'll give Mwangsha a chance now to do.
Yeah, for me, I see Mbidde as, he's strong in terms of the history of SC Villa. But I just want something that is punchy from him that actually should move a Villa voter to cast a vote for him. And of course, I also want to ask you, Mbidde, you're the person who is running with you. You seem to actually think his biggest weakness is not having managed football before, but we're talking about corporate governance, and he could actually say he has a strong foot in there because he's managed. I mean, he's been at committees in parliament. He's been the information minister in Uganda. He's done corporate governance, and that's what Villa wants, and that's what you are fighting. You're fighting against big man syndrome. So him bringing in corporate governance doesn't necessarily have to be a person that actually was involved in football all through. All he wants is a template that is for success, and then he follows that. He uses people who know like you.
I have not seen Segona in a corporate company. The biggest sponsorship in Uganda today in sport, actually in Uganda, have been brought in by me. One, I've worked for Uganda Television as a market analyst. I've worked for Uganda Telecom as a sales manager. I've worked for National Housing and Construction. So when I talk about building stadium, I know, as a sales marketing manager. I've worked for AR Medical Insurance. Today, AR is the one giving actually the UPL sponsorships. When you're saying corporate government, the only thing I know about Segona, me as a person, even at university, is Nkoba Zambogo and Mengo. He actually, I would like to see him. He
has chaired very important committees in parliament.
And that's what he has. Well, now we're discussing corporate governance.
Okay.
And I'm trying to tell you, when it comes to corporate governance, I know exactly what it means to be a corporate person. I've been at UBS as a chief commercial officer. So when it comes to sponsorships, Airtel, AR, MTN, StarTimes, DSTV,
sports broadcasting,
whatever. I've done all that.
Now, Mbidde, here's the thing, because I like the direction the discussion is going. And by the way, we are getting Honorable Mbidde Segona online very, very shortly. We've just talked to him, and he should be joining us in a few minutes. But maybe I should take you back a bit, just back a bit. What has the problem been at Villa?
Villa is the problem with ideological.
No, I know you said that.
Mindset.
I know you said that.
Mindset.
But we've seen Express go through a ditch comeback and not only win locally but also regionally. KCC was consistent for quite a while. Vipers have been winning a couple of championships here and there. Has it been about management? Has it been about the coaching? Has it been about the funding? What has the biggest problem been at Villa?
It's a bit of everything. One, it was ownership.
Yeah.
Which we sorted by starting the trust, Villa Members Trust. So everyone now, today, if you pay your 50,000 shillings, and I want to urge you, every Villa fan in the country, pay your money and become an owner of Villa. One, that's now corporate governance. Two, we have a structure at Villa now. There's a board of trusts, there is a Congress, which is the supreme body of the club. And now I think we have 60 Congress members. That is where the decisions of the club are made. Never, ever, ever will you have Mbidde saying, no, me, I will not register a club of Villa in a league of FUFA. We have changed that.
Yeah.
Big man syndrome. What we're saying, the biggest problem in Villa, by the way, all those things, ownership and everything, is we have the most funds in the country. 2 million funds, I'm sure, and above. Today, registered probably are 800 or 900 who are going to vote come Saturday. So we need to give back the club to the fans.
Yeah. Back to the fans.
Let everyone contribute to the club. I can tell you what happens when you have an individual running a club. Schools have been closed for 2 years, running. Now there's a team actually I know, owned by a school owner, and they're struggling today.
You don't mean Vipers, do you?
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
But well, there's even the Waxo Giants who owns a school.
I was just trying to...
And Goria schools. But I'm telling you, today, what we thought 2 years ago would never happen today is a reality.
Okay.
Schools are closed for 2 years, and the club cannot actually manage.
Maybe Mbidde, on that very point, what makes you think that Mbidde, Mbidde Segona is not following what you're saying? He's actually also not for the big man syndrome. He wants to follow the structure, just like you are doing. Because when you are talking, it comes off as if Segona is the big man, and that's the syndrome you want to stop from, continuing. Aren't you guys all following a structure that has been put up by the community ownership model, and now the Congress passing, and now we have an election so that whoever wins can actually follow a system and employ their strategy?
And maybe I should add something small to that. The big man syndrome, I mean, it's I don't want to call it a syndrome, but Express has one boss. Okay, they have one big boss who probably has put in the money. KK, like you said, the Attorney General.
Not his money, perhaps using his connections to get
He's using his connections.
Yeah.
Apart from KCCA and Vipers, which I think Vipers, of course, is equally clear. They have one person in there. But KCC has a structure, URA has a structure, all these companies have a structure. At some point in Mbidde, you need someone in there who is not for the big man syndrome, but who is a big man. And I think you're a big man. I'm just adding on that.
Yeah, it's all about bringing the people on board and connections, which I have actually. I can tell you, I've given you my profile. My problem with Segona is that actually, even in university, I've never seen him putting on a short. Just a short.
A pair of shorts.
A pair of shorts to play football.
So
it was in Kobazambogo and law. It was his books and law.
In your view, Honorable Mbidde Segona knows nothing about football and shouldn't be.
And you should know, actually, with the football, you should know football. You see, every time I talk to Moses Mago for the last 4 years or 5, and he always asks me, why has football in the Uganda Premier League failed to go up? And I'm telling him, you know what? We're not attracting the right people into the game. We need more KKs at the top. You need the Mbiddes at the top. You see, when you have a guy who is simply running around, not understanding. By the way, when I was a vice president in FUFA, the one thing actually I destroyed was betting and match fixing and corruption in football.
How Mbidde?
We did rules and laws. Actually, referees, if you mess up one game, you're suspended.
That still happens?
Definitely, yes. You're actually, there were no rules before, until when I became the vice president of FUFA. So when you get guys simply come to football and say, let me go, make a killing, match fixing, match betting, but they don't know football.
Yeah, I'll very shortly be asking you about your connection with the former president, Engineer Moses Magogo, because some of the fans online are coming up and saying that he's the one pushing you and he's going to make sure he win the election. And there could be more intrigue in Villa, but we shall discuss that shortly. I've seen Mark Sally. Mark Sally is joining us on the line. Mark, can you hear me this time?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We do apologize. We shall get that interview towards the end. If, of course, Rebecca can stay around with you, Tony. We shall discuss that very, very shortly. But we have Mr. Dennis Mbidde here. We are hoping to have Honorable Mbidde Segona joining us shortly. So the first big question to you, Mark, is the Villa elections. Whichever way you look at it, this is good news for Villa. This is good news for Ugandan football.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's a far cry from some of the things we've had in the past. When Villa first drew up this roadmap for them to resuscitate the club by changing its leadership and its leadership structure, I was quite excited, of course, because I thought they'd been in limbo for quite a bit, where we just were not sure who was running the club and what exactly their vision was and what everybody else's role was in it, because the people who seemed to run it were in the background, and the guys they seemed to front were not the ones running the club, and it was a bit confusing. But anyway, these things tend to show on the pitch. So the fact that Villa were not good off the pitch was showing badly on the pitch for quite a few years now. They have not been champions since 2004, and that is the most successful club in the country with 16 titles.
Yeah.
But anyway, hopefully they can get it right. When they first drew the roadmap, Joe Chizeto to come onto the show and spell out exactly what they wanted to change about the future structure of their leadership, I thought that it was good on paper. But you remember, I always I had my misgivings about if actually they were going to follow that blueprint to the letter, because politics always gets in the way. And where Villa is concerned, it's been quite a huge part of their club for a very long time. And now, what we're witnessing actually is the politics. Some of the stuff that has been going around between the two candidates, that's Mbidde and Segona, two people who are very known to me, by the way. Marks of old school politics. And there's been quite a mud being flung around. Even just now, I was laughing when I heard Dennis say that he's not seen Segona put on shorts in his life ever. It's quite hilarious. But hopefully, because I think it comes with the territory, the politics. Hopefully, once that dies down and one of them wins the seat, then they can pull the other in and work towards making Villa great again. Because I've seen that in other federations, because I wear so many hats, as you know. I'm a journalist on the one side, and then I'm a manager on the other, so I've seen a few things. I saw a bit of politics in the basketball, which is where I'm at right now. With the AfroBasket in Kigali. But what happened is that as soon as one of the guys won, there was quite a bitter race between Grace Kwizera and Nasa Serunjoji.
Yeah.
But once one of them won, they rallied in the other side quickly, forgot the politics and put that aside and decided to work together, which is why basketball is looking this good right now. So I'm hopefully for Villa, they can manage to get beyond the mud that they are
Mark,
right now and work together to make that club great again. We would like to see them competitive, yeah.
Fantastic. I'm going to cross to you shortly because Honorable Mbidde Segona has now joined us online and want to also have his opening remarks. Honorable, if you can hear me, a very good evening and a warm welcome to the press box. Hello? Honorable Mbidde Segona, can you hear me? Hello? I think the Honorable can't hear me yet. I don't know, maybe his line is not very clear. He was traveling, he did confirm that to us, but we still hope to have him on the show. Hello, Honorable? Okay, he cannot hear me at the moment, but when he, I'm sure, gets us, we shall get him through online as well. Mwangusha, Mark says it's politics, but I think we better jump into the manifestos because we need Dennis here to tell us specifically
exactly
what he's going to do for Villa.
And I want to make it very clear and simple for Dennis. Without mentioning Mbidde Segona, pick out 5 points where the Electoral College of Villa should say Mbidde is the man.
Actually, I don't even want to go so much into what I'm going to do, I've done in football. One, after 40 years with the Injury Moses, actually made sure we go back.
Yeah.
And actually, when you are traveling, like Mark said, is traveling in Rwanda, you have a lead of delegation. I'm on record. I've never lost a game as a lead of delegation away. And I'll give you Togo, World Cup, Botswana, when we qualified the first time,
yes.
Cape Verde.
What are you saying? Are you saying you have a good charm because you weren't playing?
You see,
I was leading the team.
Okay.
Mbidde is like the golden ministers.
I was leading the team. You know, when you are traveling, like Mark said is traveling, or Olympics or whatever,
So
there's the lead of delegation.
Yeah.
Okay? So, and I've never lost an own record in Uganda, in football at least.
Only you and Arsenal.
Only me has that record. Togo, Botswana, Cape Verde. But I'm happy Micho is back. Micho is very, and I'm not understanding why people are actually undermining Micho. Micho, if Micho hadn't gone to Orlando Pirates, actually, and it was football politics, when we were going to verse Egypt, because that campaign of Togo, I started it, when we won Togo, 3-1 in Togo. If he hadn't gone, so what happened, the Egyptians paid money for Micho to go to Orlando Pirates. That's football politics. When you are coming to something, you have to understand it.
So they don't, let me come back to you very shortly, because I want the opening remarks from the man you're competing against. And now he's joining us online. Honorable Mbidde Segona, can you hear me? Hello? Honorable Mbidde Segona, I don't know if, can you hear me?
Hello.
There you go. Fantastic. Honorable, good evening and a warm welcome to the press box.
Hello. Unfortunately, I cannot hear you.
I'm hoping we can try and sort that out on our side. Can you hear me now?
Hear you.
I don't know if you can hear me now or not. Honorable, can you hear me clearly now? Oh, there you go. We seem to have major technical glitches tonight, but we shall keep trying him and hope to have him on the line very shortly.
And also, let me take you also back a bit.
Yeah.
You see, in 2003, when Villa won 22 goals against Akol, 22-0. You know, that was the ultimate, that was the pinnacle of football corruption in Uganda, Arrow Boys. We formed a body called Save Our Soccer with Aldrin and Mwema, which I was the head of, to try and clean up football in this country. So normally there's a quote of General Mohoes when he says, asking Justice Ogola, when we were fighting, we were sleeping.
Yeah.
When most of Ugandans were sleeping, actually.
You guys were fighting.
In the football. I was fighting for football. We created Save Our Soccer and forced the arm of government to change the football in this country. So for me, that's a starting point. Secondly, we would go into football. In 2005, under Lawrence Murindwa, Honorable Lawrence Murindwa, I became the head of marketing. After those guys messed up, actually, I think proper football administration stopped in 1996 under OHT Babale, Mugeda. Okay? After that, football was just in turmoil. Corruption, match fixing, you know. See, now, when we started football in 2005, when I became a head of marketing of FIFA, in 2000, Lawrence Munda told me one thing, and Audrey, I want you to bring back fans to the stadium. Only one thing. I've watched a game between Express and KCC. When we were only watching it, 4 dogs, 4 policemen and 2 people, me and Audrey in Songa. We have gone around that, actually, and brought up football into actually the mainstream. I can tell you that in 2010, 7 players of Vida, unpaid. Today, the way it is, Villa was going to be relegated over unplayed Saturdays and everything. I'm the one person who brought the 6 players. Mosei Kauma guy, one of the founding members, brought 1 player. The 6, I took them to Nambole Stadium against Police. We survived the relegation.
Yeah. One of them you went with on a bike?
On a border, okay, and because the man could escape. So for me, when you ask me what I'm going to do, no, I've done. The Uganda Telecom sponsorship. I worked in Uganda Telecom. I'm the one who brought it in Vida.
Okay, now,
Pepsi, Mountain Dew. See, so when you're talking about even the current process that we're in right now, I've run it until today with Engineer Moses Magoga and Sean Mobile. That is my process.
There's actually a feeling online that you're being supported by Engineer Moses Magogo because he has a real stake in what happens at Villa, and I'm not sure the Villa fans would want to hear that.
Well, but actually, according to him, he has run at us until here, where we are. And that's a very good point. And I think for me, the Vice President of FIFA, the first one is Express. The third one is Express. And the second one in FIFA. So I'm so proud having a president of FIFA, actually being a Villa supporter. For me, it's a plus. So I want to know someone who, Honorable Nachiwara Chiyinji. I want to see someone who says, I'm not proud of Honorable as an Express fan. You know, so for me, it's good.
But that also has come with alleged player tapping, because you make decisions of which player can play somewhere, and then using that power, you get it to tap into players, and it's been seen with some of the moves that have happened. Actually, some of the moves which are being contested right now by KCC, 2 of them actually. So yes, no one stops anyone from supporting a club, but I think there should be boundaries.
I agree, and for me, anything wrong is wrong. But still, to be in football, you come from a club. Football administration is about being in a club. I must be a Villa fan before I become a vice president of FIFA or president of FIFA. Okay, or I'm in schools or referees or coaches. That is football. It's a family. So for me, the wrong things are wrong. Really, I'm telling you, my first executive order when I sit on that presidency of Villa is going to be to annul the 2003 trophy of 22 goals of alcohol.
Oh, really?
Because I have powers as a president of Villa, I retain some powers. We have 16 titles. We now have 15.
You're going to take it away?
Because it was corruption.
Let me quickly cross over.
Corruption.
Let me cross over to Tokyo. We've got a man in Japan. That is Ismail Dakabachigong. Someone, meanwhile, online here, Mr. Mbidde says, Dennis Mbidde should lead the delegation of Arsenal too, so that we can start winning some matches. Okay, there you go. Ismail, can you hear me?
Arsenal.
Good evening, Ismail. Can you hear me? Okay, I don't know if Dakaba has stepped away from his... Can you hear me, Dakaba? Okay, then maybe I should cross over to Kigali once again. We seem to have so many technical glitches on the show tonight. We do apologize for that, guys, but we are getting it together. Let me quickly cross over then to Mark Sally, who is also in Kigali, because there are so many questions coming in for Mr. Mbidde, and also there's so much currently online. I'll be reading some of those later on. Mark, can you hear me?
Yeah, fantastic. I can hear you.
Yeah, you've heard what Mbidde has said. Some people online are saying he's attacking Honorable Medad Segona absolutely for no reason. But if I know you're Express, but what would you expect from Villa's next president? Is what Mbidde is saying here? He's
a smart old boy. He supports me.
Yeah, or he supports you.
Yeah.
Are you supporting Mbidde in the presidency?
Trouble.
I am not a Villa fan. I'm a registered supporter. I don't matter really. I don't have any dog in that fight.
Yeah, but what would you expect from Villa's next president? I mean, at the end of the day, Villa must come up and do well, just like Express and KCCA.
Yeah, there's a few basic things they've got to do, and hopefully they are going to address that. The first one, of course, is a proper leadership structure that is on the ground and actually runs the club the way it should be. Because it looked like so many people were doing a volunteer job for which they didn't have enough time. That's the impression I've got about Villa and its leadership over the last so many years. And yet that's a club that needs dedication. Every football club needs dedication, a dedicated structure that actually gets onto the ground to do the work they're supposed to do. One of those, of course, for Villa is to rally the fans back, to get them disciplined and organized and shooting in the same direction for the same goal. Because sometimes I wonder when I listen to some of the things they say on the airwaves and on social media, if these guys actually know exactly what it is that they want for their football club and if they're united in it. That's one. Two, of course, is to find themselves a new home and get themselves the identity that they had when they were actually guys that played at Villa Park. And that was for so many years when they established themselves as a team that played there, trained there, and used that as their home. The third thing, of course, is going forward, is to ensure, one, that they bring enough corporate sponsorship on board to finance that institution so they can have the kind of playing staff, the kind of youth teams, the kind of training facilities, and the kind of reach and viewership that they ought to have as a football club. And basically, they're going to have to do that by going commercial, turning their fan base into a consumer base, and giving them a product that is worth paying for. Ultimately, that's it, really.
Okay, but Mark, there's a very key issue that Mbidde brought up here, and he was questioning Mbidde's involvement in football, and he doesn't seem to have seen him enough in football. At a presidency level, Cinematol, sorry, Cinematol in football. At a presidency level, does that really count?
Listen, which is why I talked about structures, the right structures, and people pulling in the same direction. Even if somebody did not, well, it pays, and it's important to have the experience that a guy like Dennis brings. But even if somebody doesn't have that kind of experience, as long as they have a good structure in place and a great vision, it shouldn't matter. They should be able to pull it off. Okay. Listen, that club has a history, and that history is full of people who have been part of the fabric for a long time. But there's nothing that says that if they got somebody in that is not part of that fabric, that they can't have the success that they need. Having said that, hey, like I said, I really don't have a dog in the fight. They have to make up their choices. They make their minds. The guys who are going to vote on who is best placed to take that club into the direction they need. Okay. Ultimately, hopefully, they'll do that.
I want us to go, Mark, I want us to go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, I'll be asking Dennis a couple of more questions. I'll also be crossing to you to get a final update about AfroBasket. I hope to have Ismail on the line in Tokyo, Japan, so that he can have his own questions for Mr. Mbidde. And of course, we shall show you a thing or two about what is happening and what happened in the Premier League, because there's action tonight and there's a red card in the big game that is going on. It's the Press Box. We're live from the Kampala Serena Hotel. We are proudly, I'm telling you, proudly powered by DSTV and Guinness. In the Press Box, and we're live from the Kampala Serena Hotel. Thank you very much for joining us. Every Monday, the Press Box is live. We have the biggest panel, like I always say, discussing some of the biggest headlines, and we're proudly powered by Guinness. Make sure you're above 18 years of age to enjoy the drink, but if you're above 18 years of age, drink responsibly, and welcome to the table of men as well. And of course, we are proudly powered by DSTV, which is making sure you can watch everything from Tokyo, that is Japan. The Olympics just got done. The Paralympics are currently on, and the Premier League is on. It's a full summer of sport as the new Premier League season is officially up and running. We've got Mr. Dennis Mbidde in studio. We are still trying to connect the Honorable Mbidde Segona, who we've just talked to now on phone, and he should be joining us very, very shortly to address a few issues that Mr. Mbidde has come up with. Just before Honorable Segona comes on, the media today has been reporting some of the things you've been telling the electorate at Villa, that they should not vote him because he is opposition. If they vote him, it means him being from NUP And of course, government will not support Villa. I don't know what that means, and why are we having that politics into football politics? Oh, you didn't even say anything like that I've just accused you of.
I said it, and I'm telling you, the only reason why Segona is in this rate is politics.
Not football.
I'm trying to look behind. I'm trying to look for a reason. As a Villa, now I'm being very selfish. My father started Villa. Now I'm talking very selfishly. I'm actually trying to look around. You see, one of my closest friends, I'm an NRM person, but one of my closest friends and my brother is Honorable Sewungu, and Alan Sewanyana. Sewungu always tells me, but Mbidde, you don't support Villa. Why? When I miss a game of Villa, not watching it, Honorable Sewungu watches all Express games and watches all Arsenal games. Actually, the calendar, if there's an Arsenal game today, Sewungu calls me. If Sewungu came up and told me, I want to be Express chairman, I would have absolutely no doubt that is for football. Absolutely no doubt. Even the list in 2017, I was chairman of Chadondo, Masasa Cup. But I've also served on that committee of Masasa Cup. I've never seen Segona, even one ball. Yeah. Honorable Segona, we share a village. My father gave me a cup of land in Mbidde, where he resides. In his, actually, I'm his constituency. Over there, I say in Kampala. Even the village team, even one ball. He has never done it. So for me, selfishly, I'm selfish about that. Segona is in this thing for purely politics.
Okay, Ismail Dakawa Chigongo is like I said, is in Tokyo, and I'm hoping Ismail can hear me now. Ismail, can you hear me? Hello? I don't know if Ismail can hear me. If he can't hear me, then I'll cross over to Mark. Once again, we do apologize for so many technical glitches we've had on the show tonight. Ismail, can you hear me?
I'm right here.
Okay,
Andrew.
Fantastic. Good to know that you can hear me, Ismail. You've heard what Mbidde has said. I want you to ask him two questions.
I want to, first of all, to have my take on the debate, and I'm going to ask him, and mine is about the past and the present.
Okay.
I've had things throughout the conversation that is made about the election at Villa. And beyond fronting his CV in marketing and Save Our Sock and all, I think he's really gone on the offensive about what made at Segona Lubega lacks. And not having the history in football. And he's also made an argument from a historic perspective about his father being a pioneer of Villa. But sometimes, Andrew, my take on sport in this country, or in Uganda, I mean, has always been that football needs to welcome as many people as it can. And I've never really been skewed by the argument that to be a good football administrator, you've got to be a player or you've got to wear shorts. One of the things that we do love the most, which is the English Premier League, which is the most popular league in the world, has grown exponentially since 1992. But you know who was the chief executive of the Premier League? It was Richard Scudamore. Scudamore, before he came to the EPL, was a banker with Barclays Bank in the UK. So I've never really been skewed by this argument about being a player to be a good and settled be around football. I could imagine before Lucas Morepe, the president of Sundowns, acquired the club, he was never involved with football. He was into his mining trade. So many times when I hear football people make this argument, I will never buy into it. And it's something I've even had with box people when we've had Godfrey Nyakan on the show, or previous when we had Justin Juko fighting to become a leader in Uganda Boxing Federation. I've always thought that sport, by its nature, that we do not become special learning it. We only learn it, most of it, through our childhood or our interactions. Should be able to welcome everyone. And if that person is bringing something new, then we should take it. And this should lead me to my question I want to ask Dennis. And unfortunately, Honorable Segona has not been able to get through because of an internet connection. Dennis, I think many of the voters see you a bit as the past and what has been around football. over the years, over the past 20, 30 years, when football has been through a lot of troughs, you are part of people who are viewed as part of the unfriendly things about football. What guarantees do you give that you actually knew? Because from the sense which I have on my Twitter tier, where I have a lot of interaction with the public, is that there's a lot of people who view Segona as the new, the fresh air, breath of fresh air, and you're not viewed as that. What is it that is new that you bring to the we haven't seen about you over the years? We interacted with you as a football administrator. And secondly, besides all the things you've said, what Villa needs now are resources. What's the magic? What's the magic that you want to employ to bring more resources to Villa to be able to compete and achieve your dreams? You've said they've been to finals twice, and now they need to go and win the big African trophies. What is the new magic about bringing in the money that Villa desperately needs? Thank you.
Okay, Ismail, just before he answers that, let me give you good news. Honorable Mbidde Segona has joined us online now, and we should be connecting to him to just have a quick feel of his own ambitions at AC Villa. Honorable, can you hear me now? Very good evening. Honorable Segona, can you hear me?
Thank you for inviting me. Unfortunately, internet connection is this poor.
Okay.
I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you perfectly. First of all, I should say thank you very much for joining us and making your debut on the press box. The elections are just days away. In case you've just tuned in, there's been so much said about you and your presidency. But let me start here. Honorable, what exactly is pushing you to become Villa's president? What is it you want to do with the presidency at Villa?
Well, thank you. Just this morning, today morning, we put across our manifesto, our plan, and we made a commitment with my team to explain each and everything in detail that we intend to do. I am not the kind that will have time to discuss other people's weaknesses. I spend time on constructive things. I have stated in our manifesto, one, that we need to unite the club. Villa today faces squabbles of factions. I am not a faction leader. I have not led a faction before, and I do not intend to lead one. I want a united club. I want a united team, and that's the only way we can move forward. Number two, we have stated we do not have a home. We need a home where we can put a stadium, where we can put football pitches for people to train, as well as accommodation for our people. During camps, we do not want to continue renting as if we're a small club. We're a big club. Number three, I have talked about the players' welfare, and to me, this is central. It's an integral part and an essential element of a successful football club. We have talked about salaries. We have talked about the pension, or call it social security, in future. So we have put across a manifesto. We have also discussed about corporate governance of this team. And here we're talking about value for money. We're talking about maximizing collection and income, but also putting money to proper use. We have talked about accountability as a key factor. We have talked about separation of roles and powers as an element of corporate governance, because we want to run Villa as a corporate entity. Then we have talked about the funds. Know your funds strategy. We have put in place something. We must know or have a database for the funds. And that's the only way we can make maximum use of our funds, by knowing them, managing them, and integrating them in the team.
Okay, I don't know if I had the final part in there. Probably the internet still.
The community club element, which
Honorable, can you hear me?
we are talking Villa is we must know the funds. best for them. And that's the only way we can maintain discipline and cohesion, as well as coherency and integration of everybody into the club management, with each party playing their role.
Okay, Honorable, let me ask something quite different. I hope you can still hear me.
I can hear you, sir.
I want to take you to the top again because, again, you joined us late. Just before you came on, your opponent, Mr. Dennis Mbidde here, is not happy that, first of all, you're running for the presidency at Villa. And according to him, you know nothing and you've not been close to football your entire life. He's actually gone on to say he has never even seen you in shorts. He believes you know nothing about football and you should not be getting close to AC Villa. What is your comment to that?
If we were not discussing in a civilized debate, I would say I will not debate ignorance. That someone doesn't know me is reason for disqualification. I do not know much about him as a player. I have known him in the club. I have interacted with him. He can deny today because he's competing against me. I'm not competing against him. He's competing against me. But away from that, I want to hear his manifesto. His manifesto should not be my name, Mbidde Segona. I know nothing because he has not seen me in shorts. Just a couple of months ago, we wanted players and we signed quite a number. Thanks to those that were in charge of this program, I did not apply to play football. I think I'm old enough or older than those that can.
Okay, Honorable, this is Andrew Mangusha here.
Football. When they football one of a lead person who is coming to lead a football club the corporate way. My brother has been there. What is it that is coming? That is new. For those positives they have been able to come up with, thank you. But it has not been enough to take us forward. In fact, if you are to blame anyone, you would start with him. But mine is not to discuss Dennis Mbidde, the person, which he has made a habit. I think I'm more civilized than that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. This is Andrew Mangusha here. Just to build on the last point that you made there, and what Mbidde is building up to in terms of your alleged limited knowledge about the game.
No knowledge about the game. I want to be specific. He has no knowledge about the game.
Okay, not alleged.
Of football.
Okay, so yeah, just on that. One might argue, oh yes, they didn't see you, they've not seen you much, involved with Villa. Why did you decide to come out now? What pushed you? Then the second one, Villa has struggled, of course, with management, which is now being sorted, but the club needs funding. What's your strategy in regards to bringing funding to the club?
To have lost you a couple of seconds ago.
The first question was building on to what Mbidde said about your limited or no knowledge about the game.
It's not limited.
No knowledge.
He knows nothing about football. I want to be on record on that.
Okay, so on that question, because he says you know nothing about the game, but you're a Villa fan and you hold membership. But one might want to know where
Let me state this just in case I have not been clearer than this. Okay? I am not the kind that is going to discuss the riffraffs. Okay? I came with my program. Let him put across his program.
Okay,
I know that I am the best in terms of managing a corporate entity, sport or otherwise. He has not been able to demonstrate the positives that he has come with in Villa management, even when he has been there. I have been a fan. You know, some people who are limited in scope think that for you to be a fan, you must be clapping or you must be singing.
Yeah, that's football.
There are certain things I cannot discuss about Dennis Mbidde. Because civility.
Honorable, let's leave Mbidde and just go to the two questions which are very specific. Very specific
I know
questions.
what it takes to be a good administrator. I know what it takes to be a good corporate manager. I know what it means bringing people together. And to demonstrate the difference between me and my young brother, just look at the language. I am coming in to say, everybody come to the club. He's coming in to say, no, some people must go away because they belong to a political party group X. Now, that's the difference. I thought that's obvious enough.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Just two very specific questions. For a young Villa fan who has not seen you in the game, and they're wondering, where is the Honorable coming from? Why did you decide now?
I have been a member.
And then the other one, just a moment, the other one, the club has struggled with funding. What's your strategic plan in terms of getting money to the club?
One, I have been a member, I have been a supporter, I have been a fan for as long as I have been an adult, and Villa has been and remains my club. Those that have not seen me should be happy to see me. Number two, let nobody take pride in laziness. If you have been an administrator in this club, you have a fan like Mbidde Segona, and you can't mobilize him, then what have you been doing all your life in Villa? Finally, on the question of strategies for funding, number one, if you read our manifesto, we laid a comprehensive plan of how we intend to raise funds, beginning with ourselves as the members and the top administrators. We must start with ourselves because it's a community club we must take back to the people. Number two, build the brand, and the brand will bring everybody kneeling, looking for you to bring his money. Number three, mobilize the funds. The funds have the money, with each contributing as little as they can manage to raise. And you maximize in terms of numbers. And you bring back discipline. You bring back unity. Those people that you had aged out have a lot of money they intend to inject in the party and the club. And some people are actually saying, Mbidde, you're the person we've been waiting for. I know where to go. I know who to contact. And I know how to raise money. And finally, when you bring in this money, you must manage it properly. There must be accountability and value for money. You must have auditors auditing the club. If you build your brand, if you play football, if you win trophies, I can give assurance, people will come in with their money.
Okay, Honorable, this is Andrew Kabura here. I want to bring in Mr. Dennis Mbidde because he's been itching. He claims he has a question he wants to ask you, and I think we should allow him to do that. It all comes down on Saturday. Mbidde, please, you've heard what he said, and he's rebutted whatever you've said.
Yeah, I don't think I want to ask Segona any question, but Segona is skating and providing theories. Managing a football club is discussing fiction. We're not discussing fiction. We're discussing the greatest club in Uganda.
You're discussing history.
Yeah, but it's the greatest club in Uganda. We're discussing actualities, practical things. Mm-hmm. Now, I also don't want to talk about myself. My record in football is clean. From Start Times to Azam to DSTV to MTN to Airtel.
And there's the sports broadcasting bit which you need to address.
We talked about Start Times. And that was the reason. You see, when you are into something, you know actually how to go about it. Mm-hmm. Those Chinese were giving us 400,000 shillings, $400,000 per year. Mm. And Azam was giving us 600,000 per year. How did we get them to actually go to bid for us? We bid sports broadcasting, and we said, as sports broadcasters, we were giving 600,000 per year.
You and Fufa, you have that history.
And then yeah, it came to 700,000 per year. Mm. So every game, when you enter everything in life, behind it, there are intricacies. You're in the media, behind it, there are things. Mm. And that's what Segona does not bring.
Yeah, but Honorable Segona asked a very important question here. He said, if you cannot mobilize funds like him, so what have you guys been doing at Villa?
Mobilizing? Mm. Which funds is he mobilizing?
The Villa funds.
He's coming, he's saying he's coming to mobilize. Me, I'm saying I have the funds. By the way, in 2009, March, I was voted the National Funds Coordinator in Uganda with Villa. And I've been a deputy president in Villa, under Misaga.
And he says you've done nothing over those years because you talk about past success as it stands.
He actually says what he has done, that's good. So he wants to build on it.
Exactly. So for me, I'm saying, let me take forward the club or not have built. That's why we're missing the point. I want to take the club forward or not have built. I know the in and outs. Now, let me take you the last thing about government. You see, President Museveni has given Villa 3 buses. Under Misaga's reign, when we actually won the Kangolo Cup, he gave Villa 600 million shillings. This club has a history of Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, supporting it, the Rujema, the Kazinis, the Kanopoteris. Actually, in our constitution, we have put in a clause of UPDF. UPDF, we have a representative in the Congress. Actually, on my executive, I have a UPDF representative. Okay? So I want to see Andrew, you are in sport. He's talking about a stadium. So who has money to build a stadium in Uganda? As an individual.
It's about mobilizing. He hasn't said he's using his money.
Even though I brought $1 million funds in Uganda, a stadium will cost you $30 million US. How are you going to mobilize $30 million US? Let me finish my point. So the fallacy is the only one person in this country who can give you money for President Museveni. No one else. The Villa funds out there. If you think you are going to build a stadium, we can buy land with $1 billion shillings. It's possible. So we can mobilize that.
Andrew.
The only one person in Uganda who can give you money for a stadium is President Museveni.
Let me cross back. Honorable, I'm sure you can still hear me and you're in line.
Yes.
I think you've heard what Mr. Mbidde has said. Let me start by asking, and I don't know if this is relevant to the discussion anyway, are there political undercurrents in terms of what we're talking about? Is there a political battle going on behind the scenes? Because he keeps talking about the fact that you're from a different political party and that we shall need maybe the president to help with the funding.
He's coming in for politics. Well, I've not mentioned the party.
But I've asked you that before, and you've said you did. When I said...
No, I'm saying he's coming in because of politics. Okay, because I've not mentioned the party.
No, well, what is online about you is that saying that he's from NUP and they will not get support from government.
I've not said that.
Okay, so it's a rumor then.
Hello?
Yes, Honorable, I can hear you.
Well, first, I don't want to discuss politics with my brother Mbidde.
Yeah.
He's on record, whatever he has said. Yes, I will mobilize funds, including President Museveni, if he accepts to join Villa.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to the president to beg for personal survival. I will ask the president to support sports in the country. And if he's talking about the president as a source of funding, he will finance the club, whether he's there or not. That's a closed question. The statutes do not allow us to bring politics into the club, and I find that decent. And my civility does not permit me to go beyond that. Finally, yes, I can hear those things he's talking about. Has he done them? No, he has not done them. That's why I'm coming to do them. Just give me a chance. I do not want to discuss another candidate. I have put my manifesto. Judge me by that. If you want to be judged by your history, that's fine, it's up to the voters. I want to be judged by the future that I'm bringing into the club. Thank you.
Honorable, just before I let you go, maybe a year or two ago, we had the Attorney General on the show, who of course had just been appointed, well, I shouldn't say appointed, who was the boss at Express Football Club. And he came through and said, give me 2-3 years, I'm going to take this club to winning the league. We are going to be competing at a continental level. They have done that now. You've talked about your manifesto, but in terms of performance, where do you expect to see Villa?
We're going to advise you. I did promise today, if you're following our manifesto launch, the first thing we're going to come up with is are the timelines in our roadmap. And gentlemen, Trust me, we will get there. But the very fundamental reason why I would dissuade you from taking the political undertones you're talking about, Express itself is led by the Attorney General of Uganda. And do you know the ambassador for that club, who has been nominated over the years? Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. I think football should bring us into coexistence. Yeah. We should not divide our fans, our supporters, and our members along political lines. It is only the weak and wicked that will always think in terms of others and not themselves. In this, I start with myself. In this, I start with unity. Anyone who thinks otherwise is not taking Villa forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable, shall I have one final question for you? But from what he's saying, it seems if he wins, he will work for you, with you. And from what you're saying, it seems like if you win, you just might not bring him on board. Or am I right?
First of all, I'm going to win.
Yeah.
So I'm not even discussing scenarios.
In the microscopic event.
So I don't even want to think about that. I've really not thought about it. That if he wins.
Are you with me?
Yeah, we are on.
Hello?
Honorable, I think he was answering and then you said something. Do you want to let me finish with him, then I can pick your answer?
I only wanted to say, in any microscopic event that an accident happens and I am not the president, I'll give my services as a fan and as assigned.
Okay.
I may not give the services of a president, and therefore executive decisions and strategies may not work. But with respect to what my brother may want from me, if an accident befell, I will support. Thank you.
Well, you had the man.
Well, he's not going to win.
Yeah.
I've not thought about that.
Okay.
In my head,
Techirimu.
Two, is the accident waiting to happen? Segona is an accident waiting to happen in Villa. And I want to tell the Villa voters and Villa fans that actually Segona in Villa is an accident.
But what accident? He's just outlined what he hopes to do.
So, lastly, as we conclude, for me, I think the manifesto I will launch, the only thing in Villa, the biggest problem in Villa is ideological, the mindset, the thinking. And I will launch my manifesto around that. I can talk about stadium, I can talk about everything, as long as we're still thinking that Andrew Kabura is going to come and bring money in Villa.
Right there.
I could.
That has been your rallying point.
Yes.
You've just, on the same show, said only President Museveni holds the cards for money. Big man syndrome. Is that what you are championing, or you want a system that will
All the things said in politics do not have to be factual. You just hope that the civic competence of the voters is good enough for them to decipher between fact and fiction, and also to decipher between sense and nonsense. And I've listened to Honorable Segona. And you know, Honorable, when you speak of your longevity as a fan and all, you do not really give a track record of being a corporate manager. Before you joined, Dennis Mbidde told us that he's known you to be brilliant in academics, in law school, and also involved with Nkoba Zambogo, and then eventually, after that, when you joined Kabaka's government, where you worked for several years and then went to mainstream politics. Can you now help us understand, when you say corporate governance, can you tell the viewer of Pressbox your track record as in corporate governance that a Villa fan would miss if you're not voted president? And then Andrew, finally, I had questions for Dennis. I hope you wrote them down because I'd really love to get answers from him.
Okay, I think we had a connection problem from the Honorable. Ismail, finish your question, my friend.
He had finished, I think.
No, he had something else. Dakaba, was that it?
I hope he can respond now.
Okay.
Yes, I am ready to respond.
Honorable Segon, I hope you've had the questions.
For the last 18 years, I have been involved in corporate advisory services. The difference with professionals is you do not go on TV to start saying, I did handle this for this client and that. But even with that record that you have mentioned and that Mbidde acknowledges, Mr. Mbidde acknowledges, even in Nkoba Zambogo, I was his leader, and I think I was a good leader if he's a good product. Thank you.
That one. That is true, Honorable. That is true.
The first point of agreement?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, was he done?
Yeah, he was done. He actually thanked us. And
oh, okay.
I think for me, if I were a Villa fan seated, and Mbidde is my man, by the way. I like Mbidde. If I were a Villa fan seated somewhere, and any Ugandan, young Ugandan, who actually wants the best for the country going forward, and you've listened to all these history lessons of We Fought, and you sit and listen to Mbidde tell you again the same stories of We Fought with no clear map of where we are headed, I would be disappointed in him if he were my candidate.
Okay.
Lucky enough, I do not have the membership for Villa, so Mbidde is safe. But I think Mbidde himself, I don't know whether he's actually serious that he wants to win this, because we've sat on this show, and Mbidde has actively decampaigned himself throughout the show, because up until now, he's still talking about what he has done. Now, this is the same story of the historicals who fought, who need to be rewarded, and they need to be kept in places because they fought. As a country, as a club, as sports, as on personal terms. I want someone who's progressive, and I think Mbidde has got the platform. He still can't tell us in his final recommendations or in his final points what he can do. But as of now, I think I've heard of this history. It doesn't build much. He needs to do something.
Luckily for us, Mbidde is here. So I'm going to get the Honorable off the phone, and then I'll give you a chance to have the final comment. Honorable, first of all, I want you to have a final message to the SC Villa fans. But before you give the final message to the SC Villa fans, you've been in Parliament. There's so much questioning about how much money is given to sport in this country. You realize being a Villa president means you have to do way more than that. It's not just Villa. The government is not putting enough money in sport. How are you going to step in with your opposition to make sure this is sorted?
I think the Honorable signed out.
Oh, did he sign out? Hello? Honorable, can you still hear me? Hello, Honorable, can you still hear me? Okay, I think he signed out, so he couldn't give his final message to the Villa fans. Let me come to you now. He's talked about the fact that everything you've said is depending on past glory. We need to move forward. Secondly, your final message to the Villa fans.
First of all, Honorable Sogona is right. He was a good leader of mine in Nkoba Zambogo.
Yes.
That, for me, is a given, no argument.
Yeah.
My only area of contestation is for him to lead me in football. That is my territory.
Yeah.
I know it very well. Secondly, Andrew, experience is an anointment. When you know and you are experienced in something, I'm a historian, by the way. The only way you can actually go forward is by understanding what has been behind.
I also agree with you 100%.
So you can't dismiss the fact that my experience is the only way. First of all, I've been in football and in Villa, in the bad things. I've been part of them. I accept. And the good things. But there are many more good things in Villa than bad things, actually. And let me also tell you, as a marketing person, brands go through a cycle. That's why in marketing, you always rebrand every 3 years. Let's go to football. Football naturally moves a generation. It's normally 10 years. Today, Barcelona is struggling. In 2010, it was the pinnacle of football in this country.
This world.
In this world, actually. Today, Germany is struggling. When they took Brazil for cleaning in the World Cup 7 goals, That was the pinnacle of Germany. So football normally moves in generations.
Okay.
Normally what people don't do, and that's why I'm telling you, experience is very important. No one ever plans for what Barcelona is going through right now.
Exactly.
They're in debt 1.2 billion shillings.
Exactly what you're failing to do to plan for Villa, because you've told us the history.
That's what I'm trying to say. That for me, I know exactly, and I know where I've been. Because I know where I've been, I can take this country forward. And let me also tell you, historically, we can say we came in 86 and everything. The only people who know how to take this country forward are those actually who took it over and are managing it.
Mbidde, first of all, we've never done this on the press box. We've never done this many breaks. Usually by this time we're out. But because of us wanting to conclude on the AC Villa issue and also have final comment from Kigali, where of course Mark Sally is. Yes, where Mark Sally is. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. When I come back, we have just 5 minutes to wrap up the show. It's the press box. Thank you very much for sticking with us until now. We are live from the Kampala Serena Hotel. We're back shortly. Sticking with us. It is midnight. I do know it is that late, but it is local football. It is AC Villa, Uganda's most successful club. So we've got to give it some time. So we have a few more minutes before we wrap up the show tonight. But just before Mr. Mbidde gives his final comments, let me just read some messages that are currently coming through online. First of all, thank you very much, guys, as always, for making us trend #1. We are trending #1 online, so it's fantastic for us. AIGP Asan Kasinje says, whenever AC Villa is mentioned, I pull my antenna. It's in my blood. I left to play a role at Uganda Police FC. The fact that we have these two gentlemen vying is a plus in the first place. Villa needs a good leader, one who is not divisive. May the best man win. Okay, more reaction coming in from George Musoke Chigozi, who says, it feels like Mbidde came to deliver a history lesson. I would love to hear what he's going to do. I've had Akalia Amagwa speak, and I was warned. Mbidde needs to deliver more than a history lesson. There's more reaction coming through from Kamya Edmund, who says, Dennis Mbidde mentioning everything about personal plus personal history and achievements. He's making no effort to discuss his manifesto or plans to steer Villa to prosperity other than lynching into an opponent with Nkoba Zambogo. I think he's going to tell you about his manifesto because he's launching it on Thursday. I shall get you those details. Let me see. Njagala Tulie Fene. Njagala Tulie Fene is tweeting us and he's saying, no. Okay. Njagala Tulie Fene. I want jackfruit.
Okay. It's like Kandahar.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Afghanistan, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
Fantastic. Wow, Mbidde. He says this Mbidde guy has failed to say what he's really bringing to the club. Segona would whoop him badly in any debate. That is just some reaction coming through, and some people, of course, saying you should tell us everything about Sports Broadcasting Limited. But before I think we do the final part of the comment, tell us about Sports Broadcasting Limited. What happened?
Actually, the company is still there. Mm-hmm. The television is going to be launched soon. soon. Yeah. If you've seen CTV.
Yes, I've seen CTV.
Go and rehearse on that one.
Do research.
But also, why we brought sports broadcasting is actually, these are the intricacies of the game.
Tactical.
Tactical. I told you, when we went to the Chinese, the man, Azam was giving us 550,000 shillings, US dollars per year.
Yeah.
And the Chinese was saying, me, I'm giving you 350. That's your worth.
Yeah.
So we said, okay. I said, let's go and engineer something. And we gave the rights to sports broadcasting at 600,000 per year, dollars. Then the man came back with 750 per year. It's simply a game. Yeah. And this game, you have to understand the game. Honestly, I think even the Honorable knows, the lawyers have their games.
I'll tell you what, do you know as NTV Press Box, we are trending #1, but Mbidde, you're trending #4.
I thought I was training #1.
No. you have no
I thought we were training because I'm
Kawalaka SC Villa. Kawalaka SC Villa is joining us, and she says, Mbidde tacha aswala na aswaza buswaza. Instead of telling us what he's going to do, he's busy discussing his opponent and history. He wasn't, okay, I'm not going to add this because you're really making huge allegations now online. Robert Mhumza says, I couldn't have summed up Mbidde any better than Mr. Mwangusha did. Okay. Which one is the other one? I have Brian Kawalia who says, I hope Segona can put what he promises into practice. That's my only worry with politicians. They promise heaven on earth. Gonzalo Wanume.
And that's why I'm not promising.
Yeah, that's not promising.
Because that's exactly what happens.
Okay. Daniel Ninsima says, so now Mr. Mbidde wants to lead our country instead of the club? No, it was just simple mispronunciation. Chemtais Bay says, I have a feeling that boys watching Big Brother Niger in the place of the Leicester City game or press box or Man United. Okay, I don't know exactly what you mean, but I think everyone is watching the press box tonight. Erisa Ivan says, if Villa fans vote Mbidde, they would have done the club a disservice. No sense of direction, unless, of course, he's holding his cards close to his chest, which I find unlikely. I think you're holding your cards close to your chest.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to launch my manifesto on Thursday.
Yes.
So my cards are on my chest.
Okay.
In Villa, by the way, when I sneeze, people catch colds. In Villa, when I sneeze,
let's wrap this up.
There's a tweet which you're going to miss, but I think I got it in my head. Okay. There's a tweet. There's someone, he said, I'm an Express fan, and I'm rooting for Dennis Mbidde. Because that man is anarchy himself. We want him to win.
Okay. And someone says, this is Calvin Nagenda says, Mbidde is depending on Mr. Museveni to construct AC Villa a stadium. It's clear Segona has strategy on the issue of the stadium. We can't be benchmarking on the president on all these issues. Then someone says, NTV Press Box, please next time host a president, not a presidential decoy. I think guys are hating up on you, and I have absolutely no reason why they are doing this. But let's, guys, so many messages. Thank you very much. Like I said, we are trending at #1, and we're going to continue most of these. You're number 4. Okay. So you don't think...
By tomorrow you could be number 2.
Yeah, tomorrow you could be number 2.
1.
Mbidde, your final message to the Villa fans. We need to step out of here.
To the Villa fans, I'm the man for the job to make this club great again. Vote for me, humbly, come 28th August, vote for Mbidde Dennis Sebogo and his team. Thank you very much, and good night. And for NTV viewers and everyone and the comments, thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks for hosting me.
Pleasure having you here. I thought you'd come with a Villa jersey, but I'm sure you will do that when you become president. You'll come with some jerseys.
Do you honestly believe you want to win?
I'm going to win, actually.
Okay.
I'm going to
Thank you for coming to the show.
There you go. Let's quickly move on. We have so much reaction still happening with AC Villa. We still have Ismail Dakaba in Tokyo. We have Mark Sally in Kigali, but we really have run out of time, guys. We've got to quickly rush this through the Premier League. Let's show you some of the action that was happening